Hi, welcome back. Fifth episode, Premiere Reviews Podcast. I'm Gabe.
And I am Will.
Yeah, so welcome back. Our video listeners are probably noting our, once again, same shirts as last time. But don't just ignore it.
Yeah,
please.
just don't look too much into it. Okay, we're busy. We can only meet every
so often.
So sometimes we record a few, at a time.
Yeah, we like to it's like the darts.
Yeah.
And Young Frankenstein, where he just sort of like groups them together when he's looking away, and then just stabs them into the board. But
yeah, which if you don't know what we're talking about necessarily,
watch the last episode, you fake fan.
Yeah, I would. I would go back and watch or listen to the last episode. So.
Yeah.
Oh, hey. So anyway,
yeah.
I don't know what this
Today's movie is Dune, which
yes.
is a new movie. Last one was an old movie, but this one's a new.
Yeah,
movie.
Dune, the newest one, 2021 version, the one that just came out October 22nd.
Yep.
Which
well, technically October 21st if you were watching on HBO Max.
Oh yeah.
And also I got to see it October 21st because I work at a movie theater and we had a screening. We had an employee screening. So I can say watch it in theaters. I can definitively say that it's a movie that I recommend watch it in theaters.
Yes, definitely. And we'll kind of dive into that more here in a little bit, but it's definitely one, if you have the ability to go to a theater right now, it's definitely one that you have to see in the theater because of the visual effects, which we can talk about here.
And the shots are beautiful, but we'll get to that.
Yeah,
we'll get to that.
So if it's okay with you, Gabe, I'll go ahead and start and talk about the production elements.
It's not, but go ahead.
Well, all right.
Anyways, next episode. No, go right ahead.
Well, now I don't know if I want to.
Are we going to switch it up? Is Gabe going to have to sort through an IMDb page that he didn't look at?
You know what? Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. So Dune 2021. Director? Okay. Also, let me just, before I start doing this, if you haven't listened to the previous episodes, I don't know why I'm the one to do this because I cannot pronounce anyone's names correctly.
That's why you do it.
I just
because
can't.
It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, I swear I can read and speak English, but I know when I say these names, it doesn't look like sound like it.
Can I look at the name that you're going to read before you read it?
Sure.
Like, I want to know which one you think you're going to mispronounce. Oh, you're screwed.
Yeah.
You are so screwed. All right.
All right. Well, okay. So the director for the film is Denis Villeneuve. Villeneuve, is that right?
I think.
All right. Villeneuve. Denis Villeneuve. Okay.
I thought you were going to mispronounce Dennis.
Dennis.
Just out of spite.
D-nice. So that's the director. He also did Blade Runner 2049, I believe.
Oh, okay.
So the film stars Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah.
Chalamet, Rebecca Ferguson, Zendaya. Oscar,
you got that one right.
Yeah. Oscar Isaac, Jason Momoa, Josh Brolin, and Stellan Skarsgård. Stellan?
I think so. Yes.
Yeah, Skarsgård, I think is.
Yeah.
So that's those are kind of the main leads. There's a few others, but so the composer, and I didn't know this until after the film. I heard elements of this composer before, but I was like, oh, maybe they just borrowed. But it was so different for him. The composer was Hans Zimmer. And we've talked about him before. He's,
right.
He did the score for
Dunkirk.
Dunkirk, Interstellar too.
Interstellar. But we haven't talked about Interstellar.
Yeah.
Our fans don't watch movies. We haven't told them.
Yeah, they only watch them. No, but yeah, he really did some different stuff with the score. And I don't know if you noticed that, but I know, and I thought it was just very well done. So while we're on the topic of Hans Zimmer, I just read a thing that he was actually such a big fan of the book Dune and he passed up the opportunity to work with Christopher Nolan, which he does a lot of films on. He was going to compose the film Tenet, but he had the opportunity to compose Dune, this film, instead. So he chose to do that, chose to compose Dune, because he was just such a big fan.
Yeah. And so is that technical stuff?
I had
keep going.
just
keep
a
going.
couple
And then
more
we'll go
things.
into synopsis.
Yeah. So the budget for the film is $165 million.
A little bit more than I have right now.
Yeah, just.
I mean, I would spot them to make the movie, but
spot them the 165
yeah,
million.
but they'd have to find about 165 million.
Yeah, I might have like a good chunk of that in my couch, maybe.
Yeah. Let me check my piggy bank and get back to you.
So that's the budget. The box office. So, I didn't really pull right now, or when. So this is actually where we're kind of, to break the illusion here. We're recording this the weekend that it came out. That the weekend Dune came out. So it was a little too early to tell box office. From what I found is that internationally it's made about $130 million so far. So
also a little bit more than I have.
yeah. So it hasn't quite the numbers for this opening weekend haven't quite been released yet. I believe I did see that it's made $20 million roughly on opening day across the United States, which isn't bad
which is about what I have.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
You tried.
I tried. But anyway, so we don't quite have the exact box office number for that yet.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the technical things. I did go ahead and look at the log line for the film too, to kind of give. It doesn't really help when we're trying to talk synopsis.
Yeah.
But if you don't know what the log line is, it's basically supposed to be what the overall what the film is about in kind of one sentence. Is what it's kind of supposed to be.
Yeah, it's the elevator pitch.
Yeah. So the logline for the film is a feature adaptation of Frank Herbert's science fiction novel about the son of a noble family entrusted with the protection of the most valuable asset and most vital element in the galaxy. Which, so that's quite vague. If you're familiar with Dune, the book or the original film, then that'll be familiar to you. But if you're not, then I think Gabe can move in and really talk about the synopsis of the film. And just to before, we will seriously only give just like one spoiler warning. So
yeah, and I'm gonna try and avoid spoilers as much as possible.
Yeah.
But buckle up, children, because we're going on a ride. So the movie is about a young boy who's like heir to a noble family in the distant future. I think it's like it's a whole other digit because we're in 4-digit years. This is like 5-digit years.
Yeah, it said like year like 10,000 something.
Yeah, no, it was like 20. It was like 210,000 or something like that. It is a long time in the future. They have a whole digit on us. All right, we are like 8 away from getting that digit. But the whole movie is just about him and his family receiving stewardship over a world that was ruled by another noble house. And this world is extremely profitable. And so they're sort of trying to, they know, and I'm not going to spoil, but they are not given the world that is supposed to be super profitable under good pretenses. They kick the other family out to give them the thing, and so they know that something bad is going to be happening to them, but they can't quite figure out what it is. And then something really, really bad happens to them.
Yeah.
And the son and his mother have to go across the desert world trying to find help and trying to survive. And So that's sort of what the movie is without giving spoilers.
Yeah, and so to kind of build off that a little bit, if that's okay.
Yeah.
And so they travel, kind of around this, or travel this world, and it's a desert. I don't know if you mentioned it's a desert.
Hence the name Dune.
Yeah, desert. If you didn't know that, but
yeah.
So they're looking for these factions, because there's this group of people that live out in the desert, and they survive out there. But one of the things that kind of is also difficult for them as they're traveling is that the desert is infested with these giant sandworms.
Yeah.
So that has a lot of, actually more than I was expecting, a lot of play in the film, I guess.
Yeah, no, I was they used it in such like an interesting way.
Yeah.
Which I wasn't expecting. I thought it was just going to be, oh, well, we need one for the marketing shot that we have. But no, it was actually done super, super well. I thought it was really cool. And they play with it so well. They show like all these different ways that it can influence the world, how people might react to them. I thought was really cool. But.
Yeah, no, I agree. The way that they did it was really cool.
Oh yeah, also worth noting so the planet, the reason why it's so valuable, like that they have it, is like it says in the log line, but basically the element allows people to travel like interdimensionally, and if they lose access to travel interdimensionally, then things sort of collapse and fall apart.
Or it's like it's a physical element that they mine on the planet that they use for the travel and stuff.
Yeah. And they don't even really have to mine it because it's literally just everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just in the sand. But I don't know. Do we want to start switching into review mode now?
Yeah, we can go ahead and move into that.
So here's what I will say about the movie. It's such an interesting world. But the beginning is so expositionary. It's so, like it just throws a bunch of information at it that I don't even think that it needed to. I think most of the information that it conveyed came across later in the movie and could have been more hinted at and could have been less overt about it. Although I will say, and this is what got me really excited to actually see the movie, my theater got to show 2 showings of it on the 21st and then an employee screening. And there was a high school kid who took his girlfriend, and he said he walked out after about 10 minutes and he said, "It hurts my brain." And no joke, that's what he said. It was really complex. It was like super complex, man. It hurts my brain. And so I was like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, it was like 10 minutes into the movie.
He didn't even go finish it?
No, he didn't finish it. He left with his girlfriend 10 minutes in, which, by the way, the first 10 minutes are like, it's just explaining things to you. Like, it's not even...
I mean, but that's not... You gotta give it more than 10 minutes.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I was confused. How could it be hurting your brain when it's literally telling you exactly what's happening? Like, how could that be hurting your... And so I was really... Anyway, I didn't know that at the time, so I was super, super excited to see the movie. I was like, oh, this is going to be a thinker. This is going to be a thinking man's movie.
Hold on. Was it my brother?
It was not your brother. It was not your brother. Your brother maybe would have got 5 minutes in. What's that joke from the George Lopez show, I think, where it's like, you walked out of Star Wars after the first 2 minutes because you said, that wasn't a movie, that was just a movie book. No, but so the first 5 to 10 minutes is just exposition, and it's just Zendaya monologuing about things. And believe me, I love Zendaya as an actress. I think she's a really good actress. This monologue was unnecessary. A lot of the information could have come across so much better and more subtly without all that. And the movie, it's not like the movie doesn't ever do that. It's not like it's a huge exposition. It gives a huge exposition dump. And then after that, it's just super subtle. It's just dropping little hints about the world. And that, I just felt that worked a lot more effectively. It's just the first 10 minutes were completely tonally different from the rest of the movie.
Yeah. And I can agree with you on that to an extent, I think. Because I mean, at least I thought, because I haven't seen the original Dune, I haven't read the book, so I didn't have any background prior to seeing this, and it was a little confusing for me just at the very beginning, because I guess it was unclear. So there's in the film there's an emperor that kind of runs, or they have control of. I mean, not I wouldn't say the whole universe, but they kind of
Practically
act.
speaking.
Yeah, they act like that. This one person kind of runs or rules the whole universe. And I guess I was confused about what the emperor's role was with the planet and the families at the very beginning, because they did that whole exposition part, but I feel like that they didn't quite explain that. I don't know. I mean, as the film, like, after the first 10 minutes, it started making more sense. But,
yeah, because it wasn't just dumping things. It wasn't just like,
yeah,
this person did this thing. Okay, well, who's that we're not going to
Right,
show you.
right.
Just accept that it is.
It was just kind of I think what made it more confusing, and I think what is the explanation, just trying to jumping through that like that. But
and here's what I also say. To me, the most complex and hard to understand. So the reason why the main character is special isn't because he's the son of a noble house. It's because his mom is this thing called a truth sayer, or something like that. But basically, like, she was only supposed to bear female children, like only supposed to bear girls.
yeah, according to the order that she's
which is a secret order that secretly runs everything.
Yeah.
But it's prophesized that if, like, when a male heir is born of that he will do all these great things. I'm not going to spoil what it was. Also, I don't really remember. But but he has the ability to, like, or at least he's learning the ability, which is something that I really like. He struggles a lot. Like, it isn't just like, oh, well, you're young and you don't know this. It's like, it's super difficult for him to master this ability, but he sort of has the ability to say something and a person will do it. And so that's an ability that is of that secret order kind of thing. It's kind of complicated. I will be honest. It's very complicated as to what's happening a lot of the time regarding that specific secret order. But to me, it was just like a cool little mystery. It felt fun to be like, oh, I don't know what any of this is.
Yeah.
But other than that, I thought it was pretty well done.
And they did, I think, as the film progressed, they did answer a few more of those questions, I think. But I would assume that in the next film that they would really kind of delve into that more. Just so you know, this film is supposed to be split into two.
I thought it was going to be three.
Three, maybe? Trilogy?
I know.
It's possible.
I know the second one is already confirmed to be happening. So.
Yeah. Yeah. But, so I'm assuming that they'll probably answer some more of those questions in the next one. Yeah. But yeah, I think that was, or at least in my opinion, that was also kind of a little bit more of the confusing part. I would say because it reminded me of basically almost Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I was gonna say don't go into this. I was like just about to say that. Don't go into this thinking you're gonna see like Star Wars or Star Trek. This is space Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Like, that's what the movie is.
Which is cool.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. And in fact, I would think that it does things a lot better than Game of Thrones in a lot of regards.
Yeah. Even though this film is split into two parts, I still think that the ending of this film
felt like a complete story.
It's better, unlike Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
Okay.
God, what a disaster. What a disaster. But no, this movie does way better.
Yeah.
I think. So go into this thinking I'm going to see a political thriller, like a space opera political thriller, Go into thinking that not I'm gonna go see this fun action adventure movie, because there is a lot of action and adventure, but you need to understand like this is a complicated movie.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that to be like, we have a refined taste. This is too highbrow for you lower class people. This is like, it's complicated. There's a lot of complex things that are going on a lot of the time.
Yeah. But it's definitely like, I mean, well, like, yeah, yeah. But it's definitely just see it, because but so anyway, that was we kind of talked a little bit about what we thought was a little bit of the weaker part of it.
Yeah.
But I think if that's okay with you, I would like to talk about the cinematography.
Oh yeah, go right ahead.
So, and the special effects. So one of the reasons, and like what we said at the beginning, why we really recommend that you see this in theaters, not only to support your local movie theaters, but just one of the main huge things about the film is the special effects. And I would argue that some of the stuff that I saw I hadn't quite seen necessarily before in the way that it was presented.
Can you give an example?
Well, so during the part where things kind of go bad for this faction, for this family, there's a battle, and the way that it's done, I'm trying not to
Spoil.
but the way that it's done, it just visually it's beautiful. But also, anyway,
yeah.
But that's at least in terms of special effects, I think that it was very well done in that way, and you definitely have to see it on the big screen to really capture all of it. So that, but the cinematography, that was I'm assuming that they filmed a lot of it on location. In a desert location, not on a different planet, but in a desert.
So
location.
we went to Dune to film this movie, and it was quite difficult. No one was happy.
Yeah.
I think this will go past the 35 miles limit set by LA.
But yeah, no, it was. I'm assuming, but it was just the way that they captured the environment was just incredible. It just looked so real, even if the sci-fi elements were CGI'd. It just looked so real, and I think just cinematically it was beautifully done. And
they did a lot of practical effects too. Like, they didn't like clone trooper armor this. They didn't just animate a bunch of. There was the armor and stuff looked real.
Yeah.
It felt real. They interact a lot with actual physical props, and so it just felt a lot more genuine. And you get really sucked into it.
Well, and I think that's, in my opinion, one of the issues with a lot of sci-fi films nowadays. But the issue is that sci-fi films today, they rely more on the CGI and less practical effects.
Yeah.
But that's not the case with this film. They really did a amazing job mixing the two mediums.
Yeah, and so here's the thing. A lot of what they wear and stuff,
yeah,
is super. It's very, very real. It is an actual prop. But so like during fights and stuff, their weapons and stuff are real. And then as they're doing it, you'll just see like a blue haze and then a red spot. Sort of like warping off of them to sort of mimic how their shields work, which is, to me, like, it was gorgeous. It was amazing to see. And the reason why a lot of sci-fi doesn't do that is because it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's very expensive to make something that looks space age but is real. And also, to an extent, it limits your creative potential because you can't have like, well, I want something that is like 80 tentacles and 4.5 eyeballs on it. Like, you can't just really make that in the way that you can think of, but you can animate it the way that you're thinking. It's super cheap. It's much cheaper to do it that way. And you can like be like, well, make it 100 feet tall, give it a lot of slime gooping off of it, and make it red sometimes. Like you can't really do that practically, at least feasibly practically. So it expands your creative potential. But this one grounded itself, and so everything felt real. It didn't just feel like, oh, well, we're gonna do this really, really big sci-fi thing. It was like, well, how would that look in the real world? How could we actually build that? And so everything feels a lot more like this is a real thing. This is actually a weapon that someone designed. This is actually a costume that someone designed. Like, it feels like you would actually see somebody wearing it in this year.
Yeah, because you kind of the film kind of has a almost a rustic kind of darker like look and feeling to it, but like in a good way. Like it really, but I think that choice also helps to bring the realism and the realisticness out. So you have all of the mix between the practical effects and the special effects and the just the style that it was filmed. It really feels real. And I haven't seen a film quite do this successfully in a long time. I'm sure that there has been one, but nothing comes to mind right now.
Yeah. You know what I like? I like their like military dress uniforms.
Yeah.
Like legit, I would wear those. I'm not even kidding. I would actually, unironically wear like. You have to see it. You have to, like. I kept looking at them with like hungry eyes during my viewing whenever they're wearing their military dress, because I'm just like, I would love to wear that. I would love to have that. I would look so good in that. But
Well, that's the thing. It's like it kind of had the feeling and the style, or the clothing and the costumes of something that was once like in the past, but the way that it's put into a sci-fi era thing is really cool.
No, sorry. I was like. Also, I will say, just to hop back onto the cons. Sorry about the yawn there. But just to hop back onto the cons for 1 second. This movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes long, and boy howdy does it feel like it. I'm not gonna like lie to you and be like, oh well, you won't even notice, like the time will just fly. I'd be like, what? It feels like 2 hours and 45 minutes, which to me doesn't matter all that much. I knew going into it, I was like, this is going to be slow, but it is a mostly slow movie, and it takes time. It takes its time, and it really succeeds in those slower moments. You feel super invested in everything that's happening because it isn't just rushing past them. But if you're the kind of person who doesn't like to sit still and just stare at something, you're going to be hitting pause a lot. And I recommend you don't do that, because it's a movie that is best enjoyed if you just sit there and watch it and actually take everything in. But just go into it knowing that.
Yeah, be more engaged than the guy who left after 10 minutes.
Yeah, be more engaged than him.
Because but yeah, it's...
And you could tell his girlfriend thought he was stupid for it. Like he was walking out, he's like, nah, man, it's hurt my brain. And she's just like... And she like pointed at it with just like furrowed brows, just like, I'm dating an idiot.
Oh man. But yeah, so I do agree with that. It is pretty long, and it is slow in certain parts, but it doesn't.
I don't think it's a bad slow.
No, it's not a bad slow. There's definitely bad slows out there. No, we won't go back to
Superman.
No.
No, I'm talking like I think it was like
Cry
the
Macho.
80s or something. Oh yeah, Cry Macho was a bad slow.
But anyway, so it was, yeah, you definitely, it's, you'll definitely.
Hey, sorry. Continue.
No, yeah, it's definitely one that you have to get, or that you have to
get the sentence out. You have to get this sentence out, Will.
I don't know what I'm.
No, it's one that you should see.
Yeah,
like really, it is exemplary of what modern American cinema can do.
Yeah,
it's just it's gorgeous to look at. There's so many shots where I want that as a computer wallpaper. I want that right now. I want that as my house wallpaper. I just want to like put that shot on my over my pass through. Like I just want that.
Yeah, no, it's definitely just beautifully done. And the acting is actually really good.
Yeah,
We didn't-
there wasn't a bad performance, I don't think. I don't
No.
think there was a single bad, which is really difficult. Like, every single movie that I've seen in the past while, there's been, like, one or two at least iffy performances in them.
Yeah.
This one, not once. There wasn't a single line that was delivered where I was like, that should have been delivered differently. Whoever this director was, props to him. I forgot his name already, but seriously, props to him. He was amazing. His actors were great. There wasn't a single bad performance. And also the characters just in general, super amazing. They all felt amazing and distinctive and fun to watch. Even the villains, I was like, oh my God, you are evil. I love it. But
yeah, no, that's something that we didn't quite talk about. But the villains in this, it's. I mean, they're very. What am I trying? The villains are very well portrayed.
yeah, they're super sinister.
Yeah,
and
which-
you don't feel good watching them, but it's awesome.
Yeah, it's,
Like-
they're kind of icky, but
Yeah, ew. But I'm sure one or two of them probably have cooties. I don't. I'd have to check with one of my informants. Although elementary school kids don't generally watch these kind of movies, but when they get dragged along by their parents, I'll have to ask them, "Hey, does Fat Man in the shower have cooties?" And I'm hoping that they give me a yes.
if you
That's my theory.
if you see the film, you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I feel like there was something else I was gonna
There's
say.
a lot of near nudity.
Yeah, well, but not you don't.
It's tasteful. It's tasteful. It's not just like someone like putting a semi-Renaissance painting of just like an orgy and just be like, no, it's tastefully nude though. No, this is just like it's you caught someone at a time and you're like, oh, this is terrifying, and it really shows like the power dynamics. Like I feel.
Yeah, between the factions or between the families,
And even within the factions, like you can see who has the power in certain scenes based upon what they're wearing and what they're doing. So yeah, no, I give this a Gabe high recommend. Probably I recommend it more than almost any other movie that we've reviewed.
Yeah, no, I think the same thing. You know, it's really honestly a amazing film to see, and I highly recommend it too, because and again, yeah, it's got so many great mixes of elements that you don't see in a lot of modern cinema. Yeah. It really, and I just think it's very well done. So
all right, well, I think that's about the end of it. That's about all that I have to say.
Yeah, me too. I think that we pretty much covered it all. So
for our video listeners, you might notice a weird cut. Ignore that. Don't read into it. For audio listeners, nothing has changed.
Nothing.
But
all right, yeah. So if you haven't liked us on Facebook yet, please do so. We'd like to have a interaction with our listeners.
Mm-hmm. Like, comment, subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Seriously, it helps us out a lot. And I know everyone says that. Please do. We would like to at some point be able to monetize this, so that way money can tear our friendship apart. So if you want to see that, please like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, and I think that because I keep forgetting to do it, but I'm gonna set up a Google quiz or Google sheet
form.
Google form.
Okay.
Where our listeners can submit recommendations for films that you'd like us to talk about, or if you have any comments about our show, preferably all good comments.
Yeah. But we'll take the bad ones.
We will take them.
Yeah.
But we're not gonna like them. No,
that Kill 'Em Averta guy who keeps complaining about spoilers. That guy's really helpful.
Which is, if you don't, that's anyway. But yes. So please like us on Facebook, And if you're just audio listeners, you can check out the video on YouTube of us talking. Or if you're our video listeners, you can listen to our podcast on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, and the Podbean.
Yeah, so for our audio listeners, you do not need to Google like Premiere Reviews face reveal. We're just here. We're just you don't need to you don't need to wonder. My face is way worse than you imagine it. And so like don't worry about it. You're going to feel way better about yourself if you just watch it on video. But if you do that, please like, comment, and subscribe so we can get like facial reconstruction surgery.
What do you mean, we?
I think you know what I mean by we. Mr. Roundhead. You be like a pizza. My face is like a potato chip. It just sort of like, it curves out.
All right. Well, on that note, we just thank you for joining us again today, and we'll post what our next episode will be in the next
as soon
few
as we
days
know.
or so. Yeah. So as soon as we know. So, all right. Well, thank you again, and this has been Premiere Reviews.
Yep. I'm Gabe.
And I'm Will.
Thanks for coming along.
See ya.